Hey guys, I just want to say a quick disclaimer that this tier list is not my favorite characters or least favorite characters. So characters you'll see in the highest tier isn't my favorite characters, and the characters you see in the lower tiers aren't my least favorite, okay? I just wanted to make that as a quick disclaimer. If you want to know my favorite and least favorite characters, I'll probably post it in my community page, like, a minute after this video comes out, so yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Yeah, you can already tell what we're doing, because assuming you read the title, and assuming you recognize what this is, we're doing a tier list with Poplings. Except here's the twist. These aren't just any Poplings. I'm not like tier listing which ones are my favorite. I'm tier listing the Poplings from my show with Poplings. So, I'll be ranking them by their personality, and yeah. So, let's start off with Orange. Now, Orange is like the leader of all the Poplings. So, personally, I think he should get a high rank for that. And he's also had some pretty cool fight scenes. And yeah, he's just a cool guy overall. So I think that's solid A tier. Alright. Next up is Green. So Green, he was pretty cool for the first 4 episodes. 5 and 6, he didn't really get much screen time. I do like his role in like the more recent episodes and the older episodes though. So for that, I'm going to give him D tier. Just kidding, S tier. What is E tier? I've never seen a tier list with E tier. Anyways. Blue. Alright. Guys, personally, I like Blue's character. Okay? I like his role. He's a funny character. He, one time in episode 2, said that line, "What's the fourth wall?" So, overall, I think Blue deserves another A tier, right with Orange. Now, Purple. So, I put a poll on my channel saying, like, who's your favorite character or something, and it had green, blue, orange, and purple. Purple, as of recording this, is the only one to have not gotten any votes, and I'm assuming that's because he's a twist villain. So, some of you would probably put him around D or F, maybe C, but personally, in my opinion, Purple is a cool character, like a twist villain, like of a show that you don't think is gonna have a twist villain, seems cool. Because that's a twist for the twist villain. So, I also think it's cool that, like, he just doesn't even, like hold back in fights. He just, like, attacks. So, personally, I think he deserves a solid B tier. He's a good character, but doesn't, like, he's not good enough to, like, get A or S tier. Now, Tall Yellow. So, even when Tall Yellow was the main villain, he even made, like, jokes and still broke the fourth wall. So, personally, that already gets him, like, a B tier with Purple. But I also like his more leading role in the more recent episodes, so personally, I think that's a solid A tier. Now, Yellow, like just normal Yellow. Personally, I do like his role, and like he's been getting a larger role in more recent episodes. Like, for example, near the beginning of episode 9, he had that fight scene with Purple, which honestly, he deserved. Purple was mean to him the entire show, and he deserved to, like, win in a fight with Purple. So, I think he deserves, like, a C tier. He's not the worst character, but he's not the best character either. So, I think a C tier is pretty good. Now, Red. Red's a confusing character for me. Because, like, his huge role is sort of like he was Tall Yellow's sidekick, which Tall Yellow never really had. Especially after he joined the main crew with Orange. He was sort of like, he did have a leading role, Tall Yellow, but, like, not really, like, that large of a role either before. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Red. Tall Yellow, like, had a large role throughout the entire show, especially when Red came in. But Red sorta is, like, not that large of a character. So, I would put them in C tier with Yellow. Except I do like their role from the original episodes, like 1 through 4. Wait, they weren't in 1 or 2. I do like their role in the original episodes of 3 to 4, where they were like Tall Yellow's sidekicks, so I'll put them in B tier with Purple. Oh. Okay, this is a good one. Dark Blue. When Dark Blue was introduced, that changed the series forever. Dark Blue might be almost as important as every character combined. Like, I'm talking if every character, like, popularity was, like, combined, like, tall yellow, yellow, purple, blue, green, orange, like, everyone. He might be able to rival that. Dark Blue has been a very important character to the series. So for that, I'll give him a solid S tier. Now, Cyan. Cyan's a more recent character, being introduced in episode 5. So, I don't really know what to think of Cyan yet, still. Especially with the fact that Cyan and White's whole, like, thing is that, like, they don't really want to help, but are still helping. But the way I see it is that, like, it's more Cyan doesn't want to help, and White doesn't want to help because Cyan doesn't want to help. Because you can see in more recent episodes, White has been nicer to the main crew than Cyan. But Cyan is a pretty cool character, so it's between A tier and B tier. Personally, I'll give him a B tier. But comment what you think Cyan should be in A tier or B tier. Now, White. So, I like White a bit more than Cyan. Except, Cyan seems more popular than White in my mind. Like, it's not that White's a bad character or anything, but I feel like his role, like, is a bit smaller. Spoiler alert, but still, even near the end of episode 9, even though he did dropkick Purple, I do think he's a pretty small role, so I'll have to give him C tier with Yellow. Now, Pink. I have no clue what to think of Pink still, because it's, like, as of recording this, I've only released episodes 1 through 9, and Pink was introduced episode 6. I almost said 7, but no, they were introduced episode 6. So I still don't know what to think of Pink yet. I do like their role of being, like, Yellow's friend, and also being the leader of the reasonable place. Because, like, you know, that's a very reasonable job. Like, it's a very reasonable job with a reasonable name with a reasonable leader, as the reasonable ones once said. Wait, they never said that. They said, you must have a very reasonable name to enter this very reasonable place with a very reasonable leader, or something like that. So, either way, I think Pink deserves a solid A tier. they're not quite an S tier, but I don't hate them. So, like, wait, no. They're not an S tier, but they're not a B tier. So it was between, like, A or A. Now, the reasonable ones, believe it or not, but they're, like, the only side characters. Because, like, you could tell that, like, every character we've ranked so far, I've gone, like, deep into detail on why I think they deserve that rating. But the reasonable ones is confusing, because not only are they side characters, but, like, personally, my favorite reasonable one is the orange reasonable one. And if you have a different favorite reasonable one, that's completely fine. But that's just my, like, favorite reasonable one personally. But, like, these aren't all, like, different, like, characters for me to rank. This is just one character right now because of the image. By the way, these images are from the credit scene in episode 8. So, yeah, personally, I'd rank them either D or C. This is a very hard decision because I feel like it would be something like right in between C and D. But I think I'm gonna go with C. Okay, these are the final two characters. There's Lime and Indigo. Now this is gonna be very hard because they were only introduced episode 7, and they got a bit of screen time episode 8 and like hardly any episode 9. But Lime, personally, I think is either a D or a C. So I'm gonna have to go with the D. Because I don't hate Lime, don't get me wrong, but it's like, sort of like, I don't really know what it is about their character that leans me more to D than C. But personally, that's just what I think. Now, Indigo's a good character. I actually like Indigo's role and stuff. Avoiding the fact that Indigo and Lime have the exact same role. But still, I think Indigo deserves like a solid B tier. Why did I put it at the bottom of B tier? Alright, so that is my official Popling tier list from my Poplings show. S tier being dark blue and green, A tier being pink, tall yellow, blue, and orange, B tier being indigo, cyan, red, and purple, C tier being the reasonable ones, white and yellow, and D tier being lime. Anyways, thanks for watching.